Okay, so a couple reminders. I'm recording. I am recording here. Test next week. There's no class on Monday, Martin Luther King Day, so enjoy your day off there. We will have a review on Tuesday, covering everything that we've covered up through today, so up to 3.3, and we'll do the written test will be on Wednesday here in class. The computer test will be on Thursday, and you'll probably run out of time on Thursday. So just practice, okay? The more you practice, the more time you'll have. Okay? So yes.
How long is the written test on Wednesday?
They're both an hour or 50 minutes.
The question,
Oh, I don't know. I haven't written that. 20 questions, something like that. Yeah.
And it's multiple choice, like essay.
It'll be like the quizzes, it'll be like a long quiz. Okay, so some show your work, some multiple choice. Yeah. Computer test, there'll probably be 4 or 5 questions, something like that.
The computer section is basically what we've gone over on the computer.
Yeah, and we're going to cover some more good computer stuff today. So there'll be graphing on there, standard deviation. We're going to do a weighted mean today. So, in fact, let's just jump into that. Trying to decide, should I give you the formula first? No, we'll just do it. Here's what we're going to do. I am always amazed. Let's pretend this is your class schedule here. So just go ahead and open up. Well, no, let's tell you what. Go to assignments. We're going to go to in-class worksheets. Pick worksheet 3.3. And we're just going to open up a new blank page here. So if you click Enable Editing here at the top, and if you just click this plus sign, it will open up a blank sheet. Okay? So let's pretend that this is your class schedule. You've got class, you got tennis, you got sociology, you got psychology, you got programming, and you've got statistics. Okay? These are your classes. For the grade, you get an A, you get a B plus, you get an A minus, you get a C, and you get an A. And as far as credit hours, 1, 3, 3, 5, and 4, for a grand total of 16 credit hours. That's a pretty good schedule, right? Okay. Now I love to ask this question because I don't know. I was a little bit of a stress case, I guess, when I was in college. I always had to figure out my GPA myself because I didn't trust the school. How many of you do not know how to calculate your own GPA? Okay, and more than I would expect. How many of you do know? Okay, can you help me out?
Well, I mean, it's like on a 4.0 scale.
Right. So an A, so we need to figure out how much an A is worth, right? So how much? So we'll call these grade points. How much is an A worth?
4.
4 points. What's the B plus worth?
B plus is like probably 3.6 or something like that.
No. Do you know? No. No wonder you guys can't figure out your GPA. You don't even know what it's worth.
2.65.
Oh my gosh.
I made a spreadsheet a long time ago, and I just plug it in.
It's worth 3.3. 3 1/3. Okay? What's an A minus worth? No, 3.6666. Oh, sorry, it's supposed to be a 3 there, but anyway. 3 2/3. What's a C worth? 2. What's an A worth? 4. No wonder you guys can't figure out your grade point average. You only know what it's worth. Okay? Now what? Even the people who said they do didn't know. Just add them up? Nope. Let me ask you a question. Do you think your A in tennis should be worth the same as your A in statistics?
Yes.
It should be, right? Okay. The A in tennis is going to be a lot easier. I actually took tennis twice in college. It was fun. First time I took it right-handed. The second time I took it left-handed. It really helped my backhand. I'm telling you should do it if you want to get good at tennis. Okay, take it left-handed. All right, so anyway, yeah, tennis was easy. It's way easier than statistics. I think we all agree with that, right? So the statistics should count more, okay? So really nobody knows?
So now you add up your grade points the same as you added up all
Nope.
your.
You gotta find the grade point minus the credit.
No, you got to find the product here. We're going to multiply our grade points times our credit hours. So you get 4 grade points there, but you get 16 for statistics because it's like 4 times harder, right? Or you spend four times more time doing it, right? Okay,
Did you do that?
we'll do that for all of them. Okay, so we're going to find the product of all of those. Okay. All right, now what?
What's the formula for multiplication?
Just times. You do the asterisk. So if I do 1 asterisk 4. Okay. All right, now what? You guys are killing me, Smalls. Killing me, Smalls. My clothes are going out of style. All right, you add them up,
And you divide it by the.
and we divide it by the total grade point. So your GPA should be this 51 divided by the 16, which is 3.1875. Okay? People just don't stress out about grades like they used to.
That's not true.
I knew how to do this when I was in college. All right. Okay, so you guys want a formula for this? Sure. Okay, so let me show you the formula. The formula, so the reason I picked that one is because that's like one of the most practical things a college student can do, right? And so the formula for the weighted mean, I don't know if you're going to like this, but it's, well, it's the same for x bar as it is for mu, okay? It's the exact same formula. It's the sum of x sub I times f sub I divided by the sum of f sub I, okay? So that's your formula, okay? I'll turn off the light because it seems like it focuses better when the light's out. Okay, so that's the formula. Now let's use another example here. Let's say we'll go back to our spreadsheet here. Come on.
Real quick, what's FI?
That's what we're going to talk about in just right now. Okay, so it kind of depends. If I were to use this here, okay, x sub I always like to think of that as your data, and f sub I like to think of that as your frequency. Okay. Now in this formula, your frequency would be your credit hours. Okay. You think of that as your frequency. You can think of the x sub I as your data. Those are your grade points. Okay. So what we did is we multiplied our grade points times our frequency to get a product. We added them up, and then we divided it by our total frequency, or in this case, our total credit hours. Okay. So let's go back to this other one bottom here. It's called weighted mean. Okay. Let's pretend that somebody says, "Hey, I want you to invest in my mutual funds. We do really well. Look at here's the data." Now they didn't give you the raw data. If you had the raw data, you could just figure out the mean just like we normally do. Okay. But we can't do that because he just gave us this table. Okay. So we need to use this formula to get a pretty good estimate, really close estimate for what the mean rate of return is here. Okay? So my question is, we know that there are 6 funds that were between 10 and 12%. There were 14 funds between 12 and 14, 10 funds between 14 and 16, et cetera, et cetera. Okay? So this guy, he doesn't know how to, he just says, hey, these are my funds. Okay? So the question is, what is the mean rate of return on his mutual funds? Okay? So we're going to use the same thing. We got to multiply the data times the frequency. So in fact, I probably shouldn't have labeled that a frequency because that kind of gave it away. These are the number of funds. But you can think of that as the frequency. So that's going to be your F sub I. Now we got to multiply it by, the problem is I can't multiply it by 10 to 12. I got to pick a number, right? So what would be a good number to pick for 10 to 12%? 11%, right in the middle, right? Okay. So this is a good estimate would be right in the middle, 11%. 12 to 14?
What spreadsheet is this?
13%. This is worksheet 3.3. Okay. 15, 17, 19, 21, and 23. Does that make sense? Okay, so we're going to use this formula here. So we're going to take our data, our midpoint in this case, we're just going to take the midpoint of those ranges, and we're going to multiply it by the frequency. Okay? So the product is simply 6 times 11, which is 66. I'm going to copy that down.
So X of I is the midpoint.
X sub I is your midpoint. That's correct. Okay? So, all right. So I've just multiplied these together. What's it telling me to do next? Nope, no divide. It's telling me to do the sum, right? Okay. So, oh, I forgot one there. Let's add them up. Don't forget that one. We're going to add them up. So we've got 592 funds. By the way, how many funds do we have? Got 40 funds. So my X bar is going to be what?
40.
Is it 40? It's going to be the 592, right? The sum of the products here divided by 40. So 592 divided by 40 works out to be 14.8% return. Now, who thinks that's a good return and you would go invest with this company? You're all crazy. That's an awesome return.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get a 15% return every year? I'm investing, man. That's good. That's a good return. How much are you making on your savings account?
Not even 3.
0.5%?
Yeah.
You can get 15%? Are you kidding me?
That's right.
This is a way better deal. Okay? You guys need to learn some investing. Okay, that's a great return. Okay, I'm investing. Okay, now the next question is, now that I know the mean rate of return is almost 15%, where do I sign up? How do you find the standard deviation? Okay, standard deviation. Let me give you some formulas for that. These are not going to be nearly as easy. I'll just warn you. Okay. All right, so let me write these on the board here. Okay. So standard deviation, sigma, equals the square root of the sum of xi minus mu squared times f sub I. Forgot that on my last class. I couldn't figure out why I was getting the wrong number. Divided by the sum of f sub I. Okay? So that's one formula. Now, another formula, and some people may like to do this. I think this is actually easier to do if you're using a calculator. Not easy though, but we're going to do the square root of the sum of xi squared f sub I minus the sum of xi f sub I squared divided by the sum of f sub I divided by the sum of f sub I. Okay? Now, theoretically, it doesn't matter whether you use this one or this one. I like this formula better. Some of you may like this formula better. You should get the same answer either way, okay? Now that's for the population. For the sample, it's going to be a very similar formula. S equals the square root of sum of xi minus fi, minus mu squared times f sub I divided by the sum of f sub I minus 1. Or you could also use this formula, the square root of the sum of xi fi squared minus the sum of xi fi quantity squared divided by sum of f sub I all over sum of f sub I minus 1. Okay? So you can see these formulas are basically the same. Once again, the only real difference, oh, I put a mu there, but I meant to put an x bar. But remember, x bar and mu have the exact same formula, so it doesn't matter here whether I'm using x bar or mu, technically. But the main difference is this one divides by your sample size, this one subtracts 1 from it, because this is an unbiased estimator. Yes?
On the sample, where you put the x bar, is it x sub I minus x bar?
Yeah, I didn't erase that too. It is xi minus, yes, that's correct. Okay? So that'll be on your formula sheet in the back of your book. On Tuesday, no class Monday, how about that? Sleeping in, yes, what I'm talking about. You know, I can't sleep in anymore, it drives me crazy. I'm looking forward to it on Monday though. I will give you this formula. You're going to need to know how to use it. Yes.
Can you just review the symbols again with a sample?
So yeah, so your symbols, just like here, x sub I represents your data, or in this case, it might be your midpoint. Okay. Mu or x bar are your means. F sub I is your frequency, okay, or your number of funds in this case. Of course, that means sum. I think that's all the symbols. We just repeated a bunch of times. Okay? All right, should we do this?
So on the sample, or I guess like the second equation, it's so the sum of, is it xi squared or is it x squared I?
Yes. Same thing.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is your data point, or your midpoint in this case, squared. Okay. We're going to do it both ways, but my question to you, as we look at this problem here, do I use the population formula or the sample formula? This is the hardest part of the test, is I'm going to give you all these equations. You're like, which one do I pick? Okay. And it's only going to get harder because I'm going to keep throwing them at you. It's going to be the sample, right? Because we're assuming this is a sample. Now, if this was a single mutual fund company and he only had 40, I could treat this as a population, but we'll assume this is a sample, okay? So I'm going to use the sample formula in this case, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and do this. It's going to be a fun test question. If you don't practice, you're going to run out of time next Thursday, okay? We'll practice this, okay? All right. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my data minus my mean squared, okay? So when you're doing this, please label things so I know what you're doing. Okay? If I know what you're doing, you're going to get more points than if I don't know. Then I'll be just like, yeah. They don't know what they're doing, okay? All right, so I'm going to use parentheses here. Xi is what? My data, which in this case is what? The midpoint. So 11 minus, what's x bar? 14.8. Quantity squared. Now, my question is, do I need to F4 any of those?
Can you zoom it in a little bit, please?
We need to get him to sit in the front, don't we? Before I do that, I will zoom it in just a moment, but do I need to press F4? Yes, where? On the B12, right? On the mean. I want that mean not to change. Okay? Is that okay?
That's awesome.
If I make it too big, it's going to be a pain. In fact, I want to make it just a tiny bit smaller. All right.
I know my eyes are a huge pain in my ass.
All right. So now I'm going to copy that down, right? And if I do it right, okay, what is this formula telling me to do next? Sorry, this one. It's the same thing, basically. What's that?
Oh, we are.
I need to multiply by f sub I, right? That was the step I forgot in my first class. I'll multiply by f sub I. Okay? So I'm going to take whatever I got here, multiply it by f sub I. F sub I in this case is
the frequency.
frequency, so the number of funds, so 6 in this case. All right, do I need to F4 any of these? No. Okay, I'm going to copy that down. What's the next step according to my formula?
Keep the sum.
Find the sum. Okay, let's find the sum. Okay, the sum of this is a big honking number, 406. Okay, so now I've got my numerator done, right? What's the next step?
To get the sum.
I'm going to divide by the sum of my things. So that's my denominator in this case. Denominator. Denominator. I can't type today. Okay, so the denominator is what? No, that's my numerator.
Oh, yeah. The denominator is the sum of.
The sum of my
40?
40. So it's 40 minus 1, right? Because I'm assuming this is a sample.
Yeah, so
If it was a population, it would be 40. I'm assuming it's 39. Okay. So I'm going to divide these two, and what is that step called?
oh, this is the deviation.
Is this the standard deviation?
Yeah.
Nope.
That's called the.
Begins with the V, it's the variance. Okay, this is the second to last step. The last step is for the standard deviation is to take the square root. Square root of the variance. Okay? Works out to be 3.22, it's almost 3%. Okay? So I've got a mean of 14.8%, which is really good. Standard deviation of 3.23. I don't know if that's good or not, but that's what it is. Okay? All right, we're going to do the exact same problem, and hopefully we'll get the exact same answer. This is where I always screw up, though, except for the funny thing in my first class, I screwed up on the first part, but not the second. We're going to do this exact same formula. Theoretically, we should get the exact same answer. Okay? Some of you are going to like this second formula better, some of you are not. And I don't care which one you use because you should get the same answer. Question?
On this next one, can you slow down a little? I'm having a really hard time following well.
Okay? I'll do my best.
Thank you.
Okay? Why we record these and then you can go slow-mo replay. Because if I go too slow. No, just kidding. All right? Okay, so what is this telling me to do first?
Square xi.
I'm squaring my midpoint first. So this is going to be xi squared times f sub I. Okay? So I'm going to take my midpoint here. I'm going to raise it to the second power. And I'm going to click on my frequency. Okay? So we're good. We got 726. Now I'm going to copy that down for all of my data. No, I don't want to replace it. Okay. What's my next step here? find the sum. We're going to find my sum. Okay? So my sum is going to be this big honking number, 9168. Okay? Now I'm going to subtract off. What am I doing here?
They're the exact same thing.
Well, it's not
But they
exact same
divided
thing
by-
because I'm not squaring it this time. It's just going to be xi times fi, right? This is going to be xi times fi. Okay? So I'm going to take my midpoint times my number of funds. Okay? I'm going to copy that down. And then I'm going to add those up. Correct? Okay. Multiply them together, add them up, and then square the sum. Okay, so I got 592. I'm going to raise that to the second power. Okay. Now I'm going to get my numerator. Oh, actually, no, I'm not. Forgot about this because I've only done this part of the numerator. I've got this part of the denominator to do now, right? Okay. So
For the denominator, how'd you get 33 million?
well, that's not the denominator, that's the numerator. Okay, so I multiplied these two together. I summed them. The sum is 592, and then I squared 592 to get 350,464. Okay? We good?
No, but keep going.
Okay. The other thing is I have you guys come up and do this, and then you guys always say he's going too fast. So it doesn't matter who's standing up here. I love it. I should have you do it next time. Okay? So then you'd be like, you're still going too fast. All right. So we're gonna I'm multiplying these two together. I'm summing them. I've just squared the sum to get 350,000. Now I'm going to divide by the frequency. Okay? So I'm going to divide by, in this case, 40, right? So I'm going to take this number, I'm going to divide by 40. That gives me 8761.6. Okay? Now I'm going to subtract these two numbers. Okay, so my numerator in this case is going to be 9168 minus 8761.6. Okay, so that's going to be this big numerator here. That works out to be 406.4, which is the exact same numerator I got over here. How about that? I usually don't do it right twice in a row. That's amazing. Okay.
Could you just click on that real quick?
Click on this one here.
Yeah, where it's highlighted, yeah, so that I can see it.
We're taking the 9168, we're dividing it, or we're subtracting the 8761.6.
There's subtracting it.
We're subtracting it. Yeah, because this says subtract right here in the formula. Okay, so now I've got my entire numerator now done. Okay, I'm going to divide by the denominator, which once again is 39. So this last step is called the variance. I'll take my numerator, 406.4, divided by denominator, which is 10.42, and then you know the last step, don't you?
I wasn't paying attention.
No, I was talking to him. What's your name?
Devin?
Devin. Last step was square root. Standard deviation is the square root of that. And look at that, I got the exact same answer. Who likes way number 1 better? Okay, who likes way number 2 better? Okay. Nobody liked way number 2 better last time. So yeah, there's always some people. I don't care which way you do it as long as you get the right answer. Okay? Now, just for fun, we got 5 minutes left. Well, 2 things. Number 1, do you know how to create a histogram of this data? It's a good test question. A really good test question.
Would you do it with products and the number of funds?
Nope. When you see the answer, you'll be like, oh, duh. Any other guesses before I go, oh, duh?
Class and product.
Yes?
Just make a chart of the frequency and the midpoints, right?
The frequency and the midpoint, that's what he said.
Oh.
No, that's not correct. Okay, what is a histogram? Let's review that because we're going to have a review day on Tuesday, not Monday. What is a histogram?
The graph.
It's a graph of numerical data that you have to group yourself, right? Okay, and it's already grouped yourself. I already grouped this for you. What are the groups?
And you got class.
Class, right? Yeah, it's this column here. It's already grouped. It's already grouped for you. So those two columns right there. Class and your number of funds. Okay? We've got a lot of studying to do this weekend. Okay, so you're going to highlight those. Then you're going to do what? Insert. Bar chart here. I hate this thing. There we go. Oh my gosh, what happened there? There we go. Except for it's not really a bar chart. It's a bar chart right now. How do I make it a histogram?
You gotta make them together.
Make them together how? Quick layout. Where they're all touching right there. Bing. Then we're going to label it properly. What do I put here? Number of funds. What do I put down here?
Class, or I guess like number, like years return.
Years return?
Or, yeah, so, or I guess you could do years. Sorry.
No, these aren't years.
It's
So the rate of return.
class.
Rate of return. We got 6 funds that are 10 to 12%. 14 funds that are 12 to 14%. Okay? And then we could say this is Braden's pool investments. Something like that. Did I spell it right?
There you go. Yeah, I actually did.
Okay. Okay. So we're all signing up because we're getting a 15% return on Braden, and it's not hopefully a Ponzi scheme. Okay?
Sounds like it is.
Yes, that does sound that kind of a return. I don't know. Supposedly the big investors get that, but us little guys never get that. All right. I guess we're done. So who's going to watch this video in slow motion? Okay? Don't watch it too slow because it'll sound funny. Okay? All right. Quiz Monday, Tuesday. Excuse me. No quiz Monday. Don't come to school. I'll give you the day off.
Thank you.
Wasn't that nice of me?
Yeah, you're so nice.
Tuesday, quiz will be on 3.3, and we will do a review day. So it's going to be you ask me what you don't know. Okay? You guys are running the lecture, and it'll be a Q&A. I'll answer anything you got.
We can stand up here and you can sit in the back.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We should do that. Okay? All right. So see you all on Tuesday.
Homework? The homework's on 3.3.
3.3. But I would recommend do it both on paper and on the computer, especially this section is really a good computer section. Okay? Make sure you know how, because you're going to run out of time on Thursday.
Their videos. I've looked
Yeah,
at
there's
them
a-
this better.
You haven't? It's right here. I'll show you. You go to announcements. And I've got stats channel on YouTube
Okay.
right there, and then you click on it. A lot of the videos are from last year. This week I've got it a little bit different order, so I'm trying to update them, but they might be from last year. But
Okay, that works.
Yeah.
Thanks. Can I quiz on all the problems?
Are you in?
I'm not yet.
What was that?
Because I think you're not supposed to attend them if you're not in.
Well, I talked about the math, like one of the advisors. And you told me to take the exam, so I did. But I didn't get high enough of a grade, but I have one more shot after that. And so I'm like cram studying right now.
I mean, we really need to,
I know.
this weekend, okay?
Yeah.
Tuesday, you better pass.
Yes, I will be registered by Tuesday.
Okay.
But on the quiz there is one, I think on the second question.
Now, is your name Dari or Carmen?
Oh, so it's Carmen Dorinka.
You gotta pick one name. Pick a name. I don't care which one it is. Go with that one.
Okay.
Because I was like, her name is Dari. I saw that today. Okay, because you wrote Carmen today, didn't you?
Yeah.
Just pick a name. I don't care what it is. You gotta stick with it.
Okay. I usually go by Carmen and Tools since that's what I come up as like my role.
Yeah, okay. Just pick a name. So your quiz.
Yeah, I like picked the wrong one, but the calculation, like I did right. I picked the like 64 to yeah, like I did it right here.
What'd you do that for?
I don't know. I got confused. And I was like, oh, that was not the right one. And then knowing that, I was still circling.
Yeah. Don't do that again.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, this is the quiz from yesterday. I accidentally slipped in my notebook and took it home and it didn't get graded. I still get some points for that.
All right, well, let's don't do that.
I don't know.
All right.
Thanks.